we'd always have a laugh and a joke and drinks afterwards, and especially people like Tolly as well. And we'd always go out together and have fun. And it wasn't just all about the actual sport of playing paintball. It was more of I suppose it was more of a community for us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Down Under Paintball. This is episode 6, and this week I'm sitting down with Jamie Griffin. He played many years for Sydney Shock. When I first started in the sport, I learnt a lot of lessons from him. He was always one of the real nice guys at paintball. Everyone knew him, and he was more than happy to help any player out there. So I've been waiting to sit down with Jamie for a while, so this is something I've been looking forward to. Jamie was a real help for me when I started, so I'm glad that I'm able to share his story for everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is Down Under Paintball. I'm joined here with my guest today, Jamie Griffin. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
I'm great. Always good to be doing one of these interviews with someone. It's good to catch up. It's been a while.
It has been quite a while. It's been a few years, although I get to see you on the streams and that from Super Sevens and get to throw a few snide comments in. But yeah, I haven't really had a face-to-face talk to you for a while.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone misses a chance to put it on mic when he's out in the limelight.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. So where are you calling in from today?
I'm at home at Bulli in New South Wales, down by the beach. Lovely town. We're just about to get quarantined and locked down, and yeah, all going well here.
I could think of a lot worse places to spend quarantine. My parents just moved down that way, so it's a good part of the world, God's country, I think.
Very much so. Yeah, grew up here, and family's from here, and yeah, it's a great place to raise kids, and yeah, got everything: beach, mountains, beer, all the important parts, really.
Yeah, just missing a good paintball field. I think that's the only thing. You've got at the top of the hill. You've got some fields, but nothing down.
Yeah, we've got the one up at Helensburgh, and yeah, that was the first place I ever played at, and that was interesting. That was with Steve Bellis had that, and it was a Bucks party, but I don't actually know who owns it anymore. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, why don't we talk a bit more about that? What was your first paintball experience like?
Well, yeah, I went there at must have been 97, I think, as a friend's Bucks. It was a Bucks party, and there was some stuff that went on, but away from the paintball field. But it was good, and it was the first time that I'd actually ever, played paintball, and it was something that I really enjoyed, and not really been a sporty person except for diving and stuff like that. Coming in that and actually being able to run and move and shoot and use tactics, and it was a really, I don't know, kind of just all clicked together for me. And just after that one of the guys said, you should probably look at doing this quite more. Yeah, I don't know how you put it, but yeah, more often. It's something that you're good at, I should say.
Yeah.
And
so you got scouted straight away.
Pretty much, myself and my friend were told that we were really good. That was my mate Pete, who now lives in Canada. And second time I played at Steve Bellis had a thing out at Yarramundi when he owned Yarramundi.
Okay.
Had a corporate tournament, so there was people like Westpac and things like that. So we got together a team, and it was basically guys that I grew up with, and my father and stuff like that, and we entered a team called the Pheasant Pluckers. And yeah, we went out there and yeah, we went really well. I actually can't remember how we went, but I know we destroyed quite a few people. And yeah, Westpac probably still don't let me bank with them now after what I've done to them. But but no, it was good. And that kind of, and the guys there said, you know, you guys have got to play. And then we went out to action and yeah, Swat A back in the day, Swat Amateur said, you know, why don't you come and try out to my mate Pete, and he was a young, small, fast guy. They wanted front players. They had back players like Mick Ryan and Kelly and that, and they wanted back play. They wanted front players. Sorry. So we went out. I was like, well, stuff it. I'm going to tag along. So we went out there and the old pallet fields at action there at Rouse Hill. We done a bit of training and that, and we ended up having some games against No Remorse, and I was I ended up sitting in the middle of the field going, no one's shooting at me. What's going on? So I ran down the field and shot 3 people, a couple of them in the side of the head, really close range, and I just went, well, maybe you should join us. So that was kind of the beginning of my, you know, tournament type of paintball stuff.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So that was like around 1997. Like all of this was sort of happening the same sort of year, or
97, 98, 97, 98, something like that. So
I didn't realise action had been around.
I'm pretty sure it was that.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And it must have been that, because around that time I went to Europe for a bit of travel, and I was still doing four-wheel drive competitions and stuff like that. So I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
I'm not debating it. I just, I never really heard much about the first. I sort of assumed action was a bit younger than that. So if it's been around that long, it's cool. It's always good to learn something new.
So it was good. Like back then we were, playing with the old school SWAT. So there was like Myth, Mad Dog, Mike, Rookie, and all these guys, and it's a very steep learning curve back in those days playing against those guys. And
do you remember what sort of guns you were using back then?
My first gun was a autococker that I bought off Johnny Caruana, one of his ex-SWAT guns, and I still got it today. That was and I kind of learnt to shoot fast because I wasn't very fast on my feet. I learnt to shoot really quick off the break and try to take people off the break, and that was my goal, was to do that so I didn't have to run as much.
Yeah, well, especially with those closed bolt guns like the autocockers, they were a lot more accurate than guns sort of got for a time. So yeah, shooting people definitely was something like a skill that you could really hone in on. I remember back in the early days. Yeah,
very much so, and especially back then no one really had electronic guns. There was basically you either shot a cocker or a mag, and there was pluses and minuses for both guns. The cocker shot flat and straight, whereas the mags you could lob it over at long range and things like that. So that was a good thing, and I think just about then I started working on the weekends up at Action as well, just doing a bit of reffing, and then that got very tedious for me. So I ended up working at the back with Johnny on the guns and learning how to fix them and clean them and stuff like that. And so most of my weekends went from four-wheel driving back to moved into paintball and, reffing or gun teching on Saturdays and training on Sundays, and with Swat A and playing SWAT and No Remorse, and Rattle and Hum had come out, and a few other people here and there, and it was a good time back then.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned gun teching. I know the guns then, they definitely needed a lot more work than guns these days. They're a bit more plug and play. Why don't you talk a little bit more about that? Like, how was it a hard learning curve to learn how to tech the older paintball guns?
I don't know. For me personally, growing up in a commercial diving and thing, I understood how valves and regulators and things like that work. So for personally, I kind of just slipped into it, and it wasn't really a big learning curve. I mean, shooting them was another thing, especially no one had eyes or anything like that on their guns, so you chop paint really easy. And but yeah, it was a good experience learning how it worked. And I mean, you don't get much of a better gun tech than someone like Johnny Caruana.
Yeah, I can say exactly the same. Everything I think I know about how a paintball gun works, he's probably taught me 90% of it. He just knows everything. He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. And so learn a lot about that type of stuff, and I suppose it kind of set me up for later on in my career with running the team and stuff like that, and trying to fix other people's markers and stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I do remember one of the first few times I met you sitting at a table with, actually, I think someone told me, maybe that was the first time I'd talked to you. I asked for a part for my gun, and someone said, "Oh, you want to go and see him?" And they sort of pointed me in your direction. I do remember you having a lot of gun parts.
Yeah. I did collect a lot of stuff, and I still have a lot of stuff today. I've still got gun part kits that I bought in America, like DM4 and DM5 O-ring kits and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll be worth it. They could be age, valuing with age. They could be worth something.
Yeah, probably by the time it gets to that, they're all probably perished and not worth anything. And I don't know anybody who has a DM4 besides myself.
Yeah, speaking of DM4s, I love the DM4s. That was one of the first electronic guns I ever saw, and it was Grunter shooting it. And he could just, there was a black and yellow fade DM4, yep. And it was so fast. I was just blown away by that thing. That was such a good marker. Yep.
Oh, those things were for the day. They were awesome. I still love my DM4. My DM4 is still in working condition. I could probably just put a battery in it and get up and rail paint in it. A bit of a gas hog, but they're a great gun.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, so you mentioned SWAT A. I haven't heard of SWAT A before. I didn't realize there was a team called SWAT A. That was a SWAT's like semi-pro team, or was there divisions back then?
Back then there was pro and amateur. So there was it was, and everyone played everyone. So it was, there was not that many teams. When you went to a tournament, you'd be lucky to get, some tournaments I went to, you'd be lucky to get 10 teams. So, you as an amateur player getting straight into the sport, you went out and you played Rattle and Hum, you played SWAT, you played Vengeance, you played Rat Pack, you played all these really good old, entrenched teams. That was, it was just a steep learning curve for us.
Yeah, I can imagine. I do same when I started in the sport. It was similar. The divisions all mixed, and there was you definitely learnt your place quick when you had to play against the top tier teams.
Yeah, but it was good, and there was a sense of accomplishment, and I still remember the first time I shot Mad Dog, and it's still the first time that I shot Miff. I mean, I shot Mick that many times I've kind of lost count, but um, but yeah, no, it was yeah, it was I don't know, getting nostalgic. It was good times for that type of thing, and then we started on with our electronic markers and the shockers and the angels and stuff like that, the IR3s, and I remember buying my first electronic IR3, and yeah, things started to turn after that.
Yeah, so what was the paintball scene like that then? Was the Super Sevens around then? Is that what you guys were playing in, or was there many events in New South Wales?
It was there was the APPL, so the Australian Paintball Players League. So I can't remember who it was running it at the beginning, but they had tournaments all over the place, and usually the Masters in Sydney, as it still is, and but we'd go to Queensland and sometimes to South Australia. Never went to Victoria to play because they had weird laws, and then yeah, sometimes WA, which was good, but yeah, APPL pretty much run it, and yeah, it was a good tournament series.
Yeah, was it APPL? Were they the ones that did the stadium series that I did remember hearing years ago about? That was in
Yep,
stadium.
yep. So yeah, so later in it, we had one in Brisbane. Can't remember. Was it Perry Park? I think in Brisbane, and then there was one uh, in Adelaide at Thebarton Oval. We also had one in Warina Cove. That wasn't stadium, but it was in a resort, which is pretty cool. And
Wow.
yeah, it was in the we set everyone set up everything, and then the wind came through and knocked everything down the night before, and we didn't know where we were going to play and that. But players are out there putting posts up, and everyone pitched in, and we got everything back together. And yeah, that was a really cool tournament. Sucked for me because I had to drive a truck down with the air system and then play and run the air and everything. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, why don't we talk about that a bit more? I do remember the first few years of playing that. Yeah, it was you and your dad with these back before we had the big compressors at Action at Sydney. There, you had, I think it was like 20 giant air bottles on the back of a trailer or something like that we used to fill our bottles off. I think
Yep.
I
So
remember having to hand my gun to your dad. Yeah.
yeah, so we it must have been around 98 or 99. We got a call down to it was my first tournament playing down at Predator Paintball in Michelego. We were down there, and we had problems with the air system, and no one could get air. So I rang my old man up and said, "Can you bring some bottles down to help the tournament out? Because if we don't help, they're gonna cancel the tournament." And yeah, so Dad brought down some G-size bottles and one of our smaller compressors that we could run off, single phase and things like that, and helped out and got the tournament back going. And then just after that, Mike would got us to, help out with the air, and because we had been a commercial divers, we've got a lot of compressors and a lot of bottles. So we set up a trailer and put all these. I think we had 15 bottles. Most of them were out of a submarine, so they could run super high pressure. And we had 2 compressors running. And yeah, it was a good experience, and collected a lot of squeegees that people left in the trailer back then when everyone was filling their bottles up.
Yeah, I think people these days just don't realize how good they have it, with all the effort that used to go to just to run a tournament, or even just to play a game of paintball. Sometimes there was just such a big effort.
Yeah, I remember like when Super Air first came out, and they had the little blowers, and you had to set up the tubes that run to different little, to the barricades and that, and everyone would just pitch in and set it all up, and then pack it all up at the end of the day, just so we could have a training run. And so there was, we'd at least an hour each day, each side, just to set up and pack up with all these teams, and everyone just got in and done it, and it was a good team building experience, I suppose. And we had laughs and jokes and stuff, so that was good.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting in the sport, it was similar. Everyone was helping put out the field, and I think that was when I got to mingle with a lot of you guys and chat and muck around. But we also got to talk about, I could ask, oh, why are you putting this bunker here, or things like that. I found it quite helpful being brand new in the sport, being able to just mingle with everyone and actually walk a field while it was being built.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was good. And yeah, Sup Air just changed the sport immensely. Being able to move a barricade, even just a couple of feet would change the dynamic of the field. And we never really had that at that stage. It was all pallets or drums or stuff like that, and there's trees and stuff. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So before Sup Air came, if you were playing a tournament series and say you were going back to the same field multiple times, would the fields change much then, or were they relatively similar each different event?
They're pretty much the same. If you knew that field, especially places like Action up in Sanford, the trenches fields and stuff like that, they don't really change. There might be a little bit, they might put an extra barricade in here or change this there or something, and that you kind of knew that when you had a coin toss, you had to pick the right end if you won, depending on the sun and things like that. Running uphill at a trench field in the paintball tournament was not fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm glad for AstroTurf and flat fields. I guess a lot of people complain about Mike's little hill he has, but it doesn't sound like much compared to what I have seen the Stanford field. I haven't played on it. I've played on the nice level Sup Air field that they put in, but I have heard some stories about. Yeah, it looks like quite a. It's a big hill. That's to just say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, and as front players, you guys have got to get up there. Otherwise, us fat lazy guys are going to get angry.
You have to pick up more of the weight and shoot more people.
That's exactly right. But no, it was pretty much set, and a lot of the places, unless they were, where is it, like places like went down to Moama, Irachuka, and things like that. They had drum fields that they could move around and things like that, which made it better. But back then you never had a map of what was going on, so field walking was good. That was a big skill, going there and seeing which way things are going to move instantly, as opposed to being able to play 2 weeks beforehand or train on it on a field was a big thing.
Yeah, and I guess the difference as well is now we have a can or an Aztec, and I can say those words, and everyone listening now I'm sure can picture what that is in their head. But you guys were having to come up against piles of sticks and work out how to play them, or if they were worth playing, or what to call them, all sorts of things like that. Yeah, it definitely sounds like it would have been an important skill to have back then.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose that's why the SWAT crew that we got now doing the mechanical stuff does so well. We know you can kind of tell each other where things are and go, like, this is, and just call it plain stuff. He's under the plane, or he's in the trench in front of the plane, or something like that. And then if everyone goes quiet, someone's sneaking around and things like that. So I suppose it's back to the roots of the game for us in that regard. But yeah, it was quite challenging moving to a all barrel field where everything's blue and everything's weird shapes, and yeah, that was not fun.
So how did you personally handle that transition onto the airball field? Did you think it was a good move for the sport? Did you enjoy it?
Personally, yes, I loved it. I love being able to shoot clear lanes, because that's my thing. I shoot quick, and being able to get my gun up off the break and shoot someone off the break, and being able to see them and see where they go straight off the break, that made a world of difference for me. And back then we didn't have ramping, we weren't allowed ramping, things like that. So people with the fastest fingers dominated, and I guess, yeah, I kind of got a bit of a reputation as being able to shoot quite quick and being able to take people on the break and giving our team a bit of a one-up.
Yeah, I do remember, many times succumbing to your gun. It was always, trying to work out which way you were shooting and go the opposite.
Yeah. I still tease my wife about being able to shoot her off the break every time.
Yeah, it's as we were talking about before the show, it's a skill no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't do it. I decided quite early that my focus would be to get up the field and shoot people as close as possible. But it's I just can't work it out. So I don't know how you guys do it. So yeah, big props for being able to have that skill. It's great.
I suppose when it comes down to it, you either move really quick and really sneaky, or you're able to shoot lanes and shoot quick. Now, since ramping, I haven't really played a lot since ramping, but it was something that I could kind of hide behind my gun. I was a big guy back then. I've lost a lot of weight since then, but I was a big guy and I hid behind my gun, and yeah, I suppose it kind of worked for me.
Yeah, I was only watching something yesterday, and watching the guys shoot their guns with two fingers, and I just thought, I don't think I've done that in probably 5 years. Just something I remember that I used to sit there and practice shooting with both fingers and rolling that semi-automatic gun, and now it's just a skill that's just not needed. It's a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, I still find myself like driving down the road, going to and from work or whatever, and I still find myself tapping my fingers on the steering wheel practicing, and then I get out into the paintball field, and pick up a mechanical marker or something, and it's like, oh, I can't double tap that, and I can't do this, and yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing for me to go backwards. Even when I have played ramping, like overseas and stuff, I still find myself railing on the gun and shooting as fast as I possibly can, but then only coming out 15 balls a second or something like that.
Yeah, you're limited. You never know. In a few more years, it's taken this long. Now we're starting to see mechanical events come through. It maybe in another 5 to 10 years we might see like a true semi or like a semi-auto division or something like that come out, and that could be your calling. It could be your time to come back in with your autococker.
Time to shine.
Yeah,
maybe. I have to say that I prefer my ego to shoot rather than the autococker. The autococker's a bit, rhythmical and, the clack, clack, clack. But the Ego SL74 that I've got, the Avalanche one, is just still the fastest thing that I've ever shot in my life.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to give us a demo one day. I want to see that. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I haven't even aired it up in a long time. So yeah, I'll have to get them all out and air them all up and make sure that they all still work.
Yeah, it'd be good to see. So you've moved on to the airball field. Are you still with SWAT A at this point, or
Yep.
moved on to bigger and better things?
No, we were still with SWAT A, and we won. I can't remember when it was. It must have been around 2000. We won, or just after 2000, we won the amateur division, and we were basically forced to go pro. And I mean, back then,
so they made you step up back then.
Yep. So,
oh, that's cool.
Basically, we've been playing amateur for a long time. We'd had a lot of people come and go and things like that, but they, Mike and John and Miff and all that were just like, look, you guys are getting too good. You're dominating the sport, dominating the amateurs. Yeah, you have to move up. So we moved up into pro, and back then we couldn't call ourselves SWAT A or a version of SWAT anymore because there was already a SWAT and thing. So basically, we had to redesign ourselves into Shock. And
that's the team I remember.
Yep. So yeah, and back then it was who was the captain? Mick Ryan was the captain, and he kind of, I was like kind of vice captain or something like that. I can't really remember, but we kind of moved up into pro as Shock and started playing, and we found it difficult to compete. We had a lot of, back then there was no sponsorship. There was guys that, we had sponsorship from Mike. Mike helped us out, and Action helped us out, and my company gave us a bit here and there and stuff like that. But paint deal, or we didn't have guns or anything, so people it was hard to get people to play and be competitive back then.
Was the sponsorship something, were a lot of teams sponsored back then, or is it just sort of across the board? It was everyone paying out of their pocket?
Basically, most people paid out of their pocket. SWAT always had a better deal than more people. There was some MacDev teams and stuff like that, but no one really got what people get today. There was no real paint deals. We were still paying stupid amounts of money for paint, and I think what was it? Paying over it was about $120 a case of paint. Wow. Back then, and when
never complain about it, what I pay.
Yeah, and then I'd walk onto the field with 2 cases of paint. Well, at least a case of paint on my back, playing semi with the electronic guns. It ended up really quick.
Yeah, I can't think. That's just I struggled when I was paying $80 a case. I can't think to pay that much. Yeah, it's must have been tough. It must have been just tough to get players at all, let alone into the pro division.
Yeah, and really, the guys that were there were committed, and we weren't the best team out there, but towards the end of it, when we had Eddie and Ringo and me and Rain Man and a few of the other guys there, we started having fun, and we started getting a bit more competitive, and it was good. But I suppose we were known a lot more for our off-field antics than our on-field stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember gravitating towards you guys a lot more when I was a new player because you guys were sort of at the top of the game. You were sitting up there, and you guys are having a lot more fun than all the other teams were. They seem to take it a lot more serious, but get similar sort of results at times. So it was good to see just a good group of guys getting together and just having fun while winning. Well, not all the time winning, but doing well.
Yeah, and it was good. It was like a brothership, I suppose. We all got on well together, and we all pulled together, and we'd always do something outside of paintball, and then when we get together and on the field, there'd always be a laugh, and in the pits there'd be a laugh, and I suppose we're still kind of a bit of a sister team to SWAT. We'd always be hanging around with those guys and people like Neil and we'd always have a laugh and a joke and drinks afterwards, and especially people like Tolly as well. And we'd always go out together and have fun. And it wasn't just all about the actual sport of playing paintball. It was more of I suppose it was more of a community for us.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. As the sport sort of got more serious, I guess like more people, it just seemed like people weren't having fun. And I just always remember you guys just always just having a laugh, or if you sucked and you walked back into the pits, I'd look over and you guys were all there cracking up about something you'd stuffed up on the field, or it was just always, it was always good to you guys just sort of it was just a weird time in paintball. Everyone was just way too serious or too angry or something. There was something going on then, but you guys always just seemed to be having fun no matter what.
Yeah, and
it was good.
Yeah, it was really good, and we'd have car park meetings, of course, but after 30 seconds of being serious, we'd start calling people names and start making jokes, and people like Rain Man kept the levity down. We kind of brought us back down to earth, and I might have thrown a gun or two around the place during the years, but after I had a bit of an explosion or yelled at someone or something, I'd calm down pretty quick, and we'd all just laugh about it and call each other idiots and stuff like that. So it was good.
Yeah, it was always good to see, and I think that term, the car park meeting, if I'm mistaken, I think that was you guys that created it, and it's still to this day. For those that don't know, Action Paintball has a big car park, and behind that's a big grass field. And whenever a team has a bad game, everyone's got to go to the car park and have a meeting. And I think you guys are the first ones that I at least heard coining the phrase the car park meeting.
Yep. Well, pretty sure we started that, and also what's the other one? The green chairs. Everyone who had a green chair was back then, and especially Rayman when he was really upset with the ref's call and started calling people names.
Yeah, he's called me some names in my time, definitely. It was good fun, good value, Rain Man.
He's a great guy and good value, and it was good to get him back out in the mechanical tourney last year out at Yarramundi, and he loved it. It was absolutely awesome. It's back to the old Rayman, shooting people, moving up and smack talking and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? You were out. Like, how long was your break, sort of out of the sport, before you came back and played that mechanical event?
So, pretty much 2008, we'd done a bit of travelling. We'd done Hunting the Beach, Skyball a few times. A fair bit in Malaysia and things like that. And, I finally got married in 2008 to Rach from Bitchin, whatever their name is, Bitchin. I'll probably get it. Yeah. I'll probably get crucified for that. kitchen. And so, yeah, we kind of I kind of slowed down. Not long after that, probably 2009, I stopped playing, and every now and then I'd do a total war or something would come up, and I'd do a little bit of team no train and things like that. But as the family grew and we, you know, all my business stuff started kicking off and started running more of the commercial diving side of the business and looking after things, I didn't really have time to put into paintball. And yeah, so coming along to the mechanical stuff, Mike invited me along and playing with Swat there, and it was great. I loved it. So we've done it. Was it 2 years now? So what's now 2020? So 2018 was the first one, I think, and went out there and got my auto cocker all fixed up and ready to go. And then Mike handed me an EMEC, one of the mechanical guns, and right now, and he said, "Oh, give this a go." And I after that, I quickly put the cocker in the bag and just started running that.
Yeah, they're great guns. Those EMAX, they're very nice. I've shot one once and I had to stop myself from buying it.
Yeah, well, since the laws have changed and that, it's so much easier now. Back in the day, buying a $4,500 IR3 or something like that was buying a couple of $100 gun that is just way above that now. It's crazy.
So you said in around like 2008 was when you started to get out of the sport. Was Shock still around then, or did you fold Shock as you left, or did they keep running?
Pretty much as Rayman and I, well, we lost Ringo and Eddie to SWAT around that time, and that was pretty much the death knell for Shock. We didn't have the people, and we were both tired, and I was especially tired of running Shock because I'd taken over running Shock and had to make some hard decisions in regards to some of the older players, like asking them to kind of retire while we tried to grow the team. And at the end of it, when that happened, we were just busy with work, and we just folded the team. We had no real choice. I didn't really want to rebuild the team and things like that with a brand new baby and business being busy, and so it was a bit of a sad day when we had to actually say Shock's no more. But and then we kind of come back and played with a lot of the SWAT guys and some old school guys in Team No Train and that was good. We kept us busy for a while, but then as we get older, things get more important, and we followed that too. So
it's a shame. It must be I've never been around at the death of a paintball team. It must have been a shame, especially being around since the inception as well. Back putting all the work in, moving up into the top division, and then it all coming to a close. So I've always sort of had explicit in my head as they sort of took the reins over, like they took that role as the second action paintball team. That you guys always were. So the team sort of lives on in spirit, even though the name might have changed.
Well, I still talk to people, and they still remember us, and still we always have a laugh, and we still talk about the old days, and the Shock bus can never be replicated, and some of the antics we got up to, and off-field antics was I suppose it was our forte.
Yeah, I think our team changed many. This is when I was playing with East Coast Raiders. We changed a lot of things that we used to do when we travelled, just to be careful of you guys. We'd try not to tell you where we were staying. We'd park our van across the street if we were going to a restaurant, all sorts of things like that. Because, yeah, if something ever happened, you knew exactly who it was. You'd be straight on the phone to you or Rain Man.
Yeah,
trying to get someone to pay for car cleaning or something.
Yeah, we never really damaged anything, but it was always just something, a little bit of a twist in the tail of people and things like that. And yeah, and we've had some characters play with us, and in between Rain Man and people like Eddie Lee and things like that. It's a good times back in them days. But geez, I sound like an old bastard now.
Yeah, it's always good. That's the idea of the show, where we're always looking back and sharing some of those stories that people playing today might not have known, and all that effort that you in those days put together with your dad and getting that air down to that event. If that event folded, you don't know what would have happened in paintball today. It's one of those sliding doors moments. It's you've done quite a lot for the sport, and I don't know if a lot of people realize all the great things you've contributed, and a lot of the people playing today, I'm sure have learned lots of lessons from you. I know I sure have.
What type of lessons are they? I hope they're lessons how to walk up off the field with your hand in the air.
Yeah, it's more how to get into a bunker quick. Yeah, don't get caught snoozing. Don't get dawdling around on the field.
Yeah. Nah, but and you know what? Looking back at it all and stuff like that, just being able to be around like-minded people, having fun, playing some really hard games all over the world with they ended up friends and basically family, and it was a great time in my life for that, and being able to, I don't know, even try to pass on some of the things that I picked up about shooting and reloading while shooting quick and things like that. I mean, a lot of that's gone these days, but that was good to be able to show someone, do this, do that, try this, try that, and actually see them pull it off and, win or, get it up on someone was really good.
Yeah, it's a legacy you can pass on. But like you said, it's a lot of those skills really have gone out of the game. So just for somebody that you said you watched the live stream and that, how do you find the current form of the game compared to the old school? Do you enjoy it?
I do enjoy it. It's fast. And yeah, I like the format. I like seeing the fast paced action, the thing. Sometimes when we first started and we playing 10-man or 7-man, and it was just a slog, and things would bog down, and you don't really get that much these days. People bust moves, and with younger players coming into the game, they can get up in people's faces and make it interesting. So that is good, but I do miss some of the actual skills of like gunmanship. I suppose it's being able to handle a big unwieldy marker and being able to shoot it really fast. That's the only thing I really kind of miss.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I remember when Ramp sort of came in, it was one of those necessary evils, because there was a lot of cheating going on, and that was unfortunately the reason. Well, obviously, it was a skill that people couldn't do. It was something that was really sought after, so people resorted to cheating and making guns faster, in all sorts of different ways. And I guess that's why ramping eventually had to take over, was to try and have everyone catch up to guys like you.
Yeah, and I do see why there's been a lot of stuff with cheating, and after I played in the States and Canada and stuff like that, you see the level that they were above us in regards to cheater boards and stuff like that, and it was just insane, the thing. And yeah, I do see the ramping does level it out and stuff, but I suppose me being an old school diehard, shooter, it's hard to see.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said, the level that people are going to get a gun to shoot fast, without just learning the skill. Like I'd if I was you, I'd take that as a massive badge of honor to be able to master something that, people were going to such lengths to do.
Yeah, and I do, and it's a hard thing to see the sport grow and be a dinosaur and things like that. But I'm glad the way that the sport is going, and with the televising and things like that, it does make it a more interesting sport for the masses.
Yeah, definitely. It is good to be able to put things, even just you or me chatting, be able to, the technology we have these days, to be able to share these stories and everything out there. Well, while I've got you here, was there anyone, that you'd like to, this is normally where I ask for a shout out for sponsors, but was there anyone that, you'd like to give a shout out to that maybe, might be listening that you'd like to thank or something like that, while you've got the moment?
Well, in my career, Mike Wyber has been behind me 100%, and we've worked together on things, and haven't always seen eye to eye, but we've always stuck by each other, and Mike and John and all the guys at Action have helped me immensely, and also my wife, she's stuck by me when I was. I remember the first weekend we really met, and it's like, yeah, see you later. I'm going to New Zealand next week to play a paintball tournament. And she was like, what are you doing? But now she's still playing and with bitching, and I'm kind of retired. So yeah, it's good. People like, and yeah, so Mike, Rachel, Rain Man, Mad Dog, Grunner, you guys, all the guys I played with, I really enjoyed playing with, and loved the banter and the getting together afterwards and having a drink and having a laugh, and yeah, play hard, party hard type thing. It was good.
Yeah, well, something else I'm getting on my guests to answer for me. Is there anyone that you reckon would be a good fit for the show? Maybe someone you'd like to hear their story, or someone that their story you'd think everyone else might like to hear?
If you could get Mad Dog, I think Mad Dog would be Darren Hawkes. I think he would be great. He's got some great stories. He's been around for a long time. Even Rain Man, Neil. I don't know if you could nail him down.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah. Have you had who else? Kai Harris?
Yeah, so he was episode 1. So yeah, we definitely got to hear Kai's story. That's he's done it all.
Yeah, I've left out a lot of the interesting stuff about what went on behind the scenes with all the teams and stuff like that. And Kai was was around a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, maybe that can be some stories for around a table with a few beers.
Yeah, as it's more of an R-rated thing.
Well, if we ever start Down Under Paintball after dark, maybe we can get you on to tell some stories like that.
Oh yeah.
So, is there any? Are you got any future plans for the sport? Are you still going to be coming back if all this coronavirus thing blows over? Are you going to be trying to get out to the mechanical events?
Definitely want to play mechanical events. Actually, people are trying to talk me into coming back to a Super Sevens, maybe in one of the lower divisions, and having a bit of a run. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the last mechanical. I was nearly 50 kilos down from when I was last playing Super Sevens, so I move a lot quicker, and so maybe that might be a little bit interesting.
Yeah, it's well, speaking of that, it's a transformation I've seen in you, and it's a big effort. So I think it's great. It'll be good to see you back out on the field. And do you have any idea of who it is? Can you tell us? Can you give us an exclusive?
No, I haven't actually decided on who I'm going to approach or if I'm going to, but if someone wants me or is interested, give me a shout, and I'm sure they can find me on social media. And actually, I kind of really want to do it now.
Well, yeah, it's been good. My sister's been playing with Rachel on Ditchin, and it's been good to see Rachel back in the sport. So I've been waiting for your return. So I think hopefully we've given you enough of the bug that you can come back.
Sounds good.
Well, if you weren't to come back as a player, have you ever given a thought of coming back as a coach? Have you ever tried doing anything in a non-player role?
I have coached some of the early X-Ball stuff up at Mount White. And, I was around at the beginning of coaching and stuff like that with Super Sevens, and I was not a fan of the sideline coaching thing, but definitely open to it. It's something that I'm interested in, but I don't know. As a boss of a commercial diving company, I'd probably prefer to just get out on the field and do my thing and not worry about people.
Oh, it's definitely one of the hardest things, going to a paintball field and not playing. It's one of the hardest things I've found ever to do. It's
100%. I go to Action to pick up something for one of my markers or something, and I see the fields, and I'm like, oh, I really want to get out there and shoot someone.
Yeah, it's very addictive.
Yeah, very much so. It's still in the blood. It's been probably 10 years since I've played properly for like proper Super Sevens type stuff, and it still flows through the veins.
It's good to hear. Well, that's about all we've got time for. So hopefully we'll see you out on the field. Hopefully we get some good news that you're going to step back onto the Super Sevens field soon. Be good.
You'll hear all about it.
I'm sure we will. All right, Jamie. Well, thanks very much for dropping in, and thanks for giving up your time and help supporting the show.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and love what you're doing, mate.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks a lot. Well, all right, that's Jamie Griffin. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and thanks for joining me, Jamie. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, mate. Thank you very much.
That's it for this week's episode of Down Under Paintball. Thank you again to Jamie for sitting down and taking the time to chat with me. that man has gotten up to some amazing things and also some pretty epic pranks that I remember back in the day. It's good to hear that guys like that are getting back into the sport with this new mechanical series, as that starts to get a little bit more traction and people are getting more into that, the old school style of paintball. It's good to hear that these guys are coming back out and getting back into things after they've had their breaks. So once again, just as I say every week, a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. It means so much to see all the views coming in. Just going to keep pumping out the episodes as long as you guys keep listening. So thank you very much. I'm Scott, and this is Down Under Paintball.